Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Tile House and the YouTube channel. My name is Lewis, and we are back again for another weekly roundup covering everything that's happened over the past week to do with Reading FC. Before we get into the video, make sure to like the video and, most importantly, subscribe down below if you haven't already, and make sure to turn notifications on so that you never miss an upload. And we're going to start off by talking about Reading's game on Saturday. It was a 2-1 win at the Cardiff City Stadium at, you guessed it, Cardiff. 2-1 win. Michael Morrison and Lucas Shaw with goals as we cruise to our third straight win in the Championship. 3 out of 3, 9 points, top of the league. What's your uncle? Now, I don't know if we're technically top of the table or not, because Bristol City have won the same amount of games, played the same amount of games, scored the same amount of goals, conceded the same amount of goals. So I think they're just top in alphabetical order, but I don't actually know. So I'm just going to continue to say that we're top of the league because we're top of the league. Everyone loves saying it, and I do. I'm loving it and absolutely loving it, and I'm sure every other Reading fan is loving it because we've been crap, quite frankly, the last couple of years. So it's nice to be good for once. It's actually quite nice to be able to boast to my mates saying that we're actually top of the league and actually mean it. And actually, when I say we're good, like we're actually good. But yeah, so I didn't actually watch the game, but from what I heard and what I've seen, Cardiff had a lot more attempts, but we seem to be a lot more clinical. The first goal I thought was really nice. Obviously, Michael Elise with a free kick put into the box, and Michael Morrison with a brilliant glancing header into the top corner. Alex Smithy's getting nowhere near that. And then the second goal, Lucas Shaw again. He did quite similar to the goal he did against Colchester, where he picked it up, held up the opposition, played it onto his right, played to his right onto his left foot, and then smashed it past the keeper in. And then obviously Cardiff scored. It was a set piece of some kind, from one set corner, but I'm not entirely sure off the top of my head. Corner was put in. Kiefer Moore, I believe, got ahead to it. Raphael saved, but Lee Tomlin bundled in the rebound, making it Cardiff 1, Reading 2. Overall reaction from the game, I think the fans are quite happy. And I don't think there's anything too bad about the performance that anyone really picked up on. However, there are a couple of things that I have picked up on post-match and everything that's gone on. Neil Harris seemed to be very confident that Cardiff were the better team and that we didn't deserve the 3 points. From what I've seen and the fan reaction, I'm judging that is a wrong opinion. But obviously, everyone's respected their opinion, but his opinion, he's been told by a lot of fans that his opinion is wrong. He said that they were way better, created more attempts, and should have scored a lot more, which they probably should have done, but they weren't the better team, because if they were the better team, they would have won. So, yeah. And then also the main thing that is worrying me is the injuries. Lucas Shaw, Felipe Aruña both got injured in the game at Cardiff. John Swift got injured in training a couple of days beforehand. Obviously, Andy Yedom missed out on the Barnsley game through injury as well. So we now have 3 of our key first-team players injured and our backup right back as well. So we're now currently have our main right back and our backup right back both injured, and we have our main striker and main attacking midfielder also both injured. So, and it doesn't look like they're going to be coming back anytime soon. Aruña apparently went off crying. Lucas Shaw dislocated his shoulder, didn't look very nice. I think he fell over and then his right shoulder went straight to the Cardiff player's legs. But yeah, Yaku Mete made his first start as well. I thought, judging from what people said, everyone said that he had a pretty good game. Obviously, there's that nutmeg on Marlon Pack that everyone's been raving about, and there was that video on Soccer Saturday where everyone was laughing at Marlon Pack because Mete basically just nutmegged him, and then both the players just kind of looked at each other and just kind of gave up at that point. But yeah, so overall, sounded like quite a good game. It was quite nervy. I was at a non-league game at the time, so seeing the notifications come through that it was 2-1 with 10 minutes to go, and obviously we know what we're like. So yeah, it was quite difficult, but we got there in the end. 3 points. We've got Watford at home this Saturday. I don't know how I feel about Watford. Obviously, they haven't conceded a goal yet this season. They are unbeaten. They've won 2, I believe, and they've drawn 1. Obviously, beating Luton on Saturday 1-0 in the M11 derby. I think I might have got that wrong, but the first time they played each other in 14 years, and João Pedro pops up with a goal. He seems to be a really good player. But yeah, I think Ivic has got something going on. I think Watford could definitely be a force. Obviously, the squad depth they have I love that type of squad depth, but obviously, think we could get a result, but I think it will be a big game. First versus third. I believe the third anyway. They're the top of the pack in terms of the teams that have 7 points. But yeah, so really tough game that will be. But very excited. Probably not going to watch it though, as I do have to be elsewhere. But I will definitely be keeping tabs on it, and I'll try and watch many highlights and everything as much as I can. But I'm hoping that we can get 3 points at home at the Majeski. And now we go on to transfers, the transfer window. We are in the last week of transfers being able to be made with foreign clubs, which obviously means one person that we are looking at is Rodrigo Riquelme on loan from Atletico Madrid. It's been quite still, there hasn't really been much movement on it. It's been, we basically had him signed for like 2 to 3 weeks by this point, but it still hasn't gone through, which is really annoying for us fans because he seems like a very talented player. But it seems like Bournemouth, our championship rivals, have decided to try and make a late attempt to try and sign him. Obviously, apparently the EFL has been holding up the move, but Bournemouth have tried to go and sign him last minute with a loan deal, and Atletico Madrid at this point are like, just get him out on loan. We don't want to have to deal with this anymore. They just want to get him gone, and if Bournemouth can make a better offer than we already have, then he may go to Bournemouth. But my confusion is if it's the EFL holding up the deal, I don't see why Bournemouth going in would mean that they'd get him first, because obviously they're EFL as well, so surely the EFL would hold up their deal anyway. But yes, it was reported by Alan Nixon of the Sun that Bournemouth and Sky as well, that they were looking at signing him. Obviously a talented winger. We are in desperate need of depth, especially with the injuries that aforementioned. João, Yedom, John Swift, Felipe Araújo. We need these players in and fast, and with only 2 weeks left of the domestic window as well, we need to start getting these players in sooner rather than later, because our depth, we've got a brilliant first team. I think our first 11 is up there, one of the best in the division, and it's shown. Obviously, when we played Derby, we had our best 11 out, and I think we battered them and should have won at least 4-5-0 that game. And obviously, we were without Yedom against Barnsley, and you could say we got lucky with the 2 Reds, but I think we did pretty well that game. And then obviously this weekend we were without Swift and Yedom, and we still managed to pull out the bag. And then next week we're going to be without João as well. So that adds on to that as well. So we do need to get that depth in. My worry is that the backup players that we do have are just not good enough at all. I just don't know I'm not sure if they're really what we need at the moment. As much as, because if it was a long-term project and like we weren't meant to go up to the Premier League this season, maybe like next season or the season after, like, as a long-term project in there, then I would say play the youngsters, get them up, and then hopefully by the time we've reached that time where, we can go for the Premier League, we'll have a really good first 11 and some decent backup coming through that have a lot of potential first-team players. But by the looks of it, we're going all or nothing really, which means if we are going up for the if we are going for promotion, then these youngsters are not good enough backup players that we need at the moment. We need decent backup players that can come in, fill in, and do a job. As much as the first team players are at the moment, obviously we're doing really well. But yeah, so Rodrigo Riquelme is someone we've been looking at, and we need to get that done as soon as possible. Obviously, the EFL apparently are holding up the deal, so hopefully we can get that one sorted. And we also got linked today with Joe Pigott, I want to say, Joe or Jordan Pigott, is a striker from AFC Wimbledon, scored 18 goals in League One last season, and he's already got 2 goals and 4 assists this season, from ranking him up there with Harry Kane, I believe, in the top 4 divisions in England, in terms of goal scoring and assists, which obviously he's a really good player. Apparently, Reading and Swansea are looking at lining up a bid of around 200,000. He's entered the last year of his contract, and as a very talented player and arguably one of the best players in League One, it would probably be a good move. Now, I'm not sure if that's a striker's really what we need, because obviously we've got João, but if he's injured, we've got Puskás, and Puskás is obviously a very talented striker. However, with the system that we're playing, Puskás is completely different to João, and I don't know if he would really fit that. Joe Pigott is the same. I'm not sure if he has the feet of João. Obviously, he has the height and the physicality. Quite a target man, I hear. But and then obviously we've got Sam Bullock and Mark Mcnulty. We'll get on to Mark Mcnulty in a bit. Was backups as well, who I don't think are good, and we or good enough anyway, and I think that we should look to sell them. But if we do have Joe Pigott, then I'm not really sure if we need him, and I don't really want to be wasting money. As good of a player he is, I don't know if it's really the right move that we should be making. But Swansea are also looking at him, and you could argue that they definitely need a striker more than we do, seeing as we have about 3 or 4, and they have like none, because Ryan Brewster obviously returned Liverpool from his loan last season, where he excelled in the second half of last season as they pushed for playoffs. So yeah, but Pigott, decent player, but I just don't think it's what we need. And Eddie broke, I believe, yesterday or the day before, Eddie RFC on Twitter. He broke that Reading are trying to, or they're attempting to re-sign Gabriel Osho. Obviously, he left the club in July after we failed to agree to a new contract with him. Apparently, we offered him half of the terms he was already on. Obviously, at that point, our finances were terrible, whereas now everything's changed. And obviously, if you want to see more about that, then look at our previous videos. But now we're in a bit more of a better financial situation. So I think it'd be a good sign. And obviously, we do need depth, and I personally think he is good enough. I think he showed that in the last 5 or 6 games of last season when he played. So he played really well at right back, and he was basically out of position because he is a natural centre back. Centre back is obviously not what we need, especially after the signing of Lewis Gibson. But if Tom McIntyre does end up going out on loan, then I guess Gabriel Osho could be a decent option. Same thing with right back. I think Felipe Aruña, we should give him a centre midfield, because that's where he is natural. Right back is more of a backup position for him. But I think Gabriel Osho would be a decent addition. It'd be nice to get another homegrown player who has come through the academy. It'd be nice to get them back in with the club. And obviously, he was linked with Swansea and 4 other Championship clubs about a month or 2 ago, but nothing seems to have really materialised from that. So, and I believe he was training with a non-league team. I want to say Boreham Wood, but I might be wrong. But yeah, so I think Gabriel Osho getting him back would be a really good signing. But yeah, I'd be happy to see him back. And now we go on to one of our strikers, Mark Mcnulty. It was reported a couple of days ago by the Scottish Sun that he is being done for match fixing or price fixing, however you like to say it. I don't know whether. See, obviously, it's only come out a few days ago. Not a lot of detail has been given on it, but apparently him and 2 or 3 others, I can't remember which, have been arrested on suspicion of match fixing. Don't really know what could happen to him about that. I'm not really good with law and stuff like that, but either way, it's a bad look on the club. It's not something we want to be. We want to deal with. We don't want that look on us at all. And he has also been linked with a move to Dundee United on loan. So hopefully, I think Mcnulty isn't good enough, especially if we're deciding to play him on the right wing, which I found a bit odd in the League Cup. But I just don't see a place for him in the team at the moment, and I don't think I'll do ever again. To be honest, I can't see what Mcnulty is as good as he is. But I think he definitely could smash it in the Scottish Premier League. Obviously, he's shown it with Hibernian the last couple of loans he's been on. But I think for Dundee United, he could be a decent option. I can't remember who they have. They have a striker who's been linked with Coventry and a couple of other Championship clubs. So replacement for him, I think, is a decent option for them up in the Scottish Premiership. But yeah, I'm not sure if Mcnulty is really up there. But obviously, with this price thing now, I think it just has to go as soon as possible. Now, we also have a couple of academy signings coming in as well. I think it was Joseph and Quanto has been apparently on trial at Reading after he was not offered a scholarship by Manchester United. And we have also passed up on the option of signing Jordan Adebayo-Smith from Lincoln. We had him on like a 4-week trial. Apparently, we have decided to not take the option up. But we have also apparently made the signing of Omri Luzon, 21-year-old Israeli centre-back. He played in Israel. He's played for all their youth national teams. So yeah, seems to be a good player. Probably predominantly going to be playing in our under-23s, but 21-year-old looks like a very good centre-back, very good option. I don't think he'll be featuring in the first team this season, but hopefully he can come through and he can make an impact in future seasons. And it is also worth mentioning that Marko Mitrovic has finally joined Belko Paunovic's coaching staff. He was assistant manager to him, I believe, at Chicago Fire. He's had a decent playing career, playing for loads of Serbian and clubs, and he's also played in Kazakhstan, I think. So yeah, decent playing career. Another Serb to join the coaching staff. So glad that Panovic is getting a lot more help. It was also said last week that Alpha Semedo to Reading is also getting closer. According to Ojogo, who Portuguese newspaper said that we are waiting for the EFL so that we can sign him on loan. However, Record Portugal are saying that a French club are going to get him after negotiations. Reading fell through. So I think Alpha Semedo would be a very decent signing. Obviously, we need a defensive midfielder, but yeah, with the loss of Pele, who has joined Rio Ave on loan, that has been confirmed earlier today. So the links that we were going to get him, I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago, not true. We have lost out, unfortunately. I would have loved to see Pele back at the club, but we have missed out on him. But Alpha Semedo, I think, would be a decent replacement. Obviously struggled at Nottingham Forest, played really well at the start, but then kind of fizzled out as the season went on. But I'm hoping that we can make a couple of signings before the transfer window closes. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching this episode of the weekly roundup on the Tilehurst Tendy YouTube channel. If you haven't already, make sure to like the video and most importantly, subscribe and turn those notifications on so that you never miss another upload. Comment down below what you think of any of the transfer targets that we might be signing and anything going on with Reading FC at the moment. But for now, guys, we'll see you next week. See you later. Bye.